Alright, and we're live, but we're not playing the game yet. But we're launching it now. Alright, so where to begin? I have recently gotten interested in James Cameron's craftsmanship, you could say, in the last 2 years, roughly. I've never really been a big Cameron fan, but I became a bit of a big Cameron fan in the last 2 years in the sort of build up to Avatar 2, I guess. And so I really want to take a look at this game because the new Avatar Frontier of Pandora game came out, and before I play that, I want to look at the other Avatar movie game that was made. And I have some memory of James Cameron saying that the first Avatar movie and the movie game was like one integrated experience or something. So he was really putting his ego on the line. Like, this movie game was going to be the first non-shit movie game, right? Because remember movie games from, 15 years ago? They weren't really that good, right? If a game had like name of the movie, the game on the cover, then the game wasn't really that good, right? So Cameron, being the kind of ego-driven perfectionist that he is, not saying he's not good at his craft, I'm just saying he has a bit of an ego too. Yeah, he was really convinced that not only was he going to make a great movie, but he was going to also make a great movie game to go along with it. So, it's going to be fun to see if he's right. Yeah, sorry about that. My dog just goes ballistic when the temperature protect. We have like a temperature protect. We have like a temperature sensor on the stove, and it just starts beeping randomly. I don't know why. It just does sometimes, and it really bothers my dog. It's like a little high-pitched noise, so I feel something unnatural is happening. Alright, this is not exactly the best looking menu I've ever seen. These fat buttons. It almost looks like an early prototype, like this was supposed to be made elegant later, you know what I mean? Like, very strange menu. Auto aim. Console game, yeah. Huh. Orientation helper. I'm assuming that's like an objective marker or something. I really like that it's turned off by default. This is certainly not a Ubisoft game from 2020. This is kind of before Assassin's Creed 2, I would say. This is back when Ubisoft was like a cool company, if you go back a really far distance, like Activision was a really cool company back in the PlayStation 1 day. They made a lot of really cool PlayStation 1 games. EA made a lot of really cool PlayStation 1 games. Ubisoft too used to be really cool. So this is sort of right before they became generic monstrosities they are today. Widescreen FOV. I mean, I have a wide screen, right? I think my screen is considered wide by 2009 standards.
Yes, it would be wide by 2009. Oh, we have the DirectX 9.
Look at this though. It's if your TV. I don't have a TV. I have a computer monitor. But if your TV supports stereoscopic 3D, then you can turn it on here.
Imperial units. Turned on by default.
It's under 3D though.
Yes.
It's specifically for stereoscopy. Inches. Oh, I see. I get it. It makes sense. Yeah. Because they gotta tell you, hey, you're this far away from the screen, and yeah. In case you're playing the game upside down, like Spider-Man, you might wanna, invert, like, yeah. Oh, Realtree. Now this is before NVIDIA Hair works. This is Realtree TM. Okay. It has fire and physics.
The fire rises.
Yeah. Tree, fire, and physics. That's what the game has.
There's no ultra high for vegetation.
I feel like this is almost a spoiler. Like imagine you hadn't seen the movie and you're telling me the game has like advanced fire modeling and tree modeling. Are we gonna light some trees on fire? What, is that gonna happen in the plot? Okay. Post FX. Now, these are old post-processing effects, and these are cool. These are always great. Oh, this is before this became lame. Yes, I love ambience, whatever it is. I'm
What about high dynamic range?
Yes. Well, I like it on the audio. I guess for the screen it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for this. Wait, do I have HDR on my stream now? Like, is it even on
I'm not
on
sure
OBS?
what the HDR here means.
Let's just leave it on in case like if you turn it off the game just looks bad.
But yeah, maybe you can figure out what it really means by toggling it in game on and off.
Yeah. This effect, this bloom effect, particle effects and bloom effects and like little heat haze effects. Around this time, this was like the cutting edge post-process effects, right? And the people who made games back then, the art people who made the game look good, right? They used these effects to great effect, okay? They made things that, in my opinion, look really satisfying. And then later on, when we got RTX and like motion capture faces, and like I like to point to the video game Battlefield 1 as like my example of like kind of moving on from this age to moving on to some more quote unquote photorealistic stuff with supposedly more realistic lighting, even though it makes machine gun bullets look like blaster bolts from Star Wars. Like they basically become this like sausage. They become this like oval shape. I can't quite make the shape with my hands, but yeah, they sort of become this like oval shape moving across the screen. Which you can say that that's using realistic light physics all you want, but it doesn't look very realistic. It just looks like a fat bolt moving across. And yeah, so there was a time when all the games in general looked really good. They looked really good for their time, especially because it was a big jump in the quality of the visuals compared to 2005, right? And also later, when we got even better graphics, the art people weren't using these effects anymore to compose their pictures, right? So I would actually argue games started to look worse after like 2015, despite having more accurate simulation of lighting and so on. Like it became a crutch that led to bad artwork, even though it was a superior technology in principle. So, but yeah, this game came out before that was on the table. Don't need to rebind the control. Oh, log in. Oh, we don't want to hit that button for reasons that I'm not going to go into. Extras. I want to hit this button. Nah, we're not going to do that.
Was there another option for DirectX 9?
Nah, I don't think so. I think your options are DirectX 9 and 8. Or something like that. And I think like it's not, I can't like click this button. It's not here.
I see. Yeah. It just tells you it's DirectX 9.
Yeah, the DirectX is before you launch the game. If you, I think you need to edit a config file on this game. Like they don't give you a choice, but it is. I've read to get the game to run. I had to read like a guide, and the guy did say that if you can't get it to run, try the other DirectX mode.
Yeah.
This game needs to be in, I think, compatibility mode for Windows XP or something. But Windows 98 and 95 will also work. It's got to go really far back on the compatibility mode.
Windows 7 is a 2009.
I know, that's why it's weird that you got to go all the way back to play this on Windows 10.
Yeah. It's kind of strange.
Alright, let's play the game. New the game. Mail.
It's not NG plus, it's just NG.
Right, I can... Character customization? I thought you played as, like, canonically guy called Ryder. Oh yeah, that reminds me. This game came with a manual. Yeah, we shouldn't even play the game. We should read the manual. Because back then, games came with manuals. We need to find that manual. Is it in here? No? Probably on the... Where is it? There it is. Wait, what? Okay, so the manual is in here somewhere. There it is. Cool. We'll read the English version. DVD-ROM.
Yeah, the game doesn't believe there is any other PDF reader than Adobe Acrobat.
Yeah, if this is you know who you are, okay? You consider yourself warned. This is very important. If you don't do this, anything could happen. You're able to do whatever you want. Signal specialist. Assigned to the distant moon.
Sounds pretty ableist. Okay.
Yeah. You've been handpicked for the Avatar program. Science initiative launched by the RDA Corporation. You're here to pilot your own avatar, a hybrid of Yordian and that of Pandora's indigenous species, the Na'vi, as you explore the Pandoran jungle. You'll learn more about the creatures of Pandora, the Na'vi, and their struggle to stop the RDA at the flashpoint of a growing conflict. You must decide where your true allegiance lies. Oh, spoilers. Do you fight alongside the RDA in a conflict spiraling out of control, or do you join the Na'vi and battle to protect Pandora from the onslaught of an invading force? Right? We're asking the real question here.
Of course, we torch Pandora,
Yes.
light it up.
Yeah. That's the question. Which path do we do first, right? Because, like, I feel like the canon path is the join the Navi path. So just a guess, just a feeling I have. And so what's better, right? Do we want to get the true ending last, so to speak, probably, or do we want to have continuity, so to speak? Like, I don't know. It's hard choice, right? Kendra Midori. The discovery of life on Pandora is an event that completely captured the imagination. This is written by Cameron for sure. In later years, um, we're gonna terraform Pandora to make it breathable for humans.
Level 4.
Oh, yeah. Let me show you what's in locker number 4. Highly regarded. This guy is highly regarded. Um, you have 4 weapons. Guess you have a loadout. You have stuff to choose from. Gear. Here's the skills. Level up with experience. Lore. Lore codex. Like a manual in the game. Those are always nice. Conquest minigame. Okay, you must attack with more units or stronger units. Yeah, it's gonna be a Risk. It's gonna be like the board game Risk. damage boost in the game. Critical chance. The game has critical chance. Range. Armor. It's a Call of Duty health model, which I actually like. I actually do enjoy the regenerating HP bar stuff. I enjoy a high time to kill with a slowly regenerating HP bar that like accelerates the regen over time. I think that's my favorite model because it lets you have variety in gameplay. With the low time to kill, all fights tend to sort of feel the same. You either die in a burst or you don't. Um, it kind of makes the skill floor and the skill ceiling very squashed together. You have a very low time to kill. The higher time to kill, there's more sort of wiggle room. The situation is sort of more dynamic. Can be. You must choose to equip skills. If that's an activated ability, then it's whatever. But if this is like passive effects, then that's something I like. Like when the game doesn't just let you have everything eventually. Pokédex, you gotta scan things to add them to the Wikipedia. These these manuals are so strange because they like spoil the game, right? They like tell you what's gonna be in the game. Oh, we have the we have the mash F to stay alive mechanic. This is not a mechanic that I think should be in games. not as not as cool as they think it is. We have save points slash fast travel points. Really, we have these in 2009. Wow, collecting cell samples gives you extra life. Oh, this is probably gonna be gonna be a strong game. Dude, I'm almost sad this game's multiplayer is gonna be dead, and the server's probably gone. This the game has some mechanics here, you know. Like there's some stuff here. These abilities. What are the keys? WASD, spacebar, left mouse, left shift. Okay. Right, that's the name of the weird tentacle thing. Yeah. We're not gonna get to do this. This for sure. For sure, long gone. Use a loadout. Ah, yeah, that would have maybe been fun. King of the Hill. That's a good game mode. A good game mode. Team deathmatch is probably okay. And search and destroy. Have a defense team and an attacker team. The Navi have cruise missiles too. They have nukes too. They're crystals.
Mm.
Must be those crystals from Noida, you know, those you launch like the homing crystals. Those things are terrifying. Yeah. Oh yeah, the hotline. I remember calling one of these hotlines for a game at some point in time when I was like a little kid. It was it's so random. I think somehow they helped me with whatever game it was. Um, I don't. You know, it's like you call the hotline. It's like, hey, I need help to beat this level. I can't beat
Maybe,
this boss.
maybe you should call the hotline on how to solve the ashtray maze.
Oh yeah, yes, that would be very appropriate to call the hotline. Yes, that would be method acting. Yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm not even joking. I will do that. If that hotline is active, I will do that for sure. I never thought of that. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, if you believe your game is faulty, damaged. Aw, how lame. They specifically tell you that you can't call them to you can't call
no.
them to get tips.
Oh no.
What are the 12-year-old kids gonna do when they get stuck? Ubisoft doesn't want to help 12-year-old kids.
Big sad.
Oh, let's make sure we don't stream an inappropriate game. It has gambling in it,
Mm.
violence, I guess the gambling could be problematic these days, huh? Could be illegal on Twitch. It features discrimination. That's aged badly, I think. I think that's capital offense at this point. Uh-huh. Nudity? Oh, whoa. Whoa.
Lewd.
What is this? And drugs. Where are the? Is it gonna be like a stim pack? You know what I mean? Like the Marines are gonna have stim packs, like the Marines in StarCraft. And there's an ad for Splinter Cell and Tom Clancy games in general. Who's this guy? I know who this is, though. This is arguably the last awesome Ubisoft game, that very first Assassin's Creed game. All right. I think we're. I think we've educated ourselves. We've read the mission briefing. We're not going to be unprepared now. I gotta check one thing. I gotta make sure I have enough disk space. This is the game. Alright, 400 gigs. Be enough for a while. Whoa. Alright. Yeah, there's a lot to choose from. Alright. So, what criteria are we gonna use here?
I take the black guy, of course.
I feel like when this was made, the future was all about Asians.
They do seem rather represented.
I almost don't like having to make this choice because it's gonna take time to make the choice.
Oh no.
Hmm. Is this our guy? Maybe. From Vietnam, maybe. Maybe we just pick whoever looks the most like James Cameron. I'm trying really hard to picture James Cameron right now. Their ears are really fucking weird, I just noticed. Something's off. But, unfortunately, there is no standout. None of them really look like James Cameron that much. Maybe this guy? I guess he looks a little bit like Cameron. Why not?
Mm.
Ooh. Wait, did I just skip the cinematic by hitting my mute button on my mouse? I think I did. We gotta restart. We gotta, like, quickly get back.
Clear for landing, docking bay 9.
Oh no.
Roger. Initiating final approach. Hell's Gate, docking bay 9.
I can just end the game. Get me out of there. I don't actually know if I fucked up there. That could have just been the end of the cinematic. Maybe they couldn't afford any more, movie. But it did feel like an abrupt end to the movie scene, so I'm gonna pre-mute now, and we're gonna just see if I was. We'll learn. We'll know if I can safely hit the mute button or not.
Shuttle 2 clear for landing, docking bay 9.
Roger. Initiating final approach. Hell's Gate, docking bay 9.
Every time I tell him, stop sending grunts, and every time, more grunts arrive.
Signals specialist.
Yeah, same thing as far as I'm concerned. But I won't be dealing with you on Pandora, okay? You're Dr. Harper's problem. You disappoint him, and that becomes my problem. So I got 3 words for you. Don't screw up.
I got it.
So file away fantasies of a tropical vacation. If you go cowboy like the rest of these jarheads, you'll be dead inside 2 weeks. I guarantee this planet is the most hostile world you've ever seen. But you keep an open mind, and she'll reward you in ways you can't imagine.
Exopacks on. Repeat, exopacks on. The Pandoran atmosphere is highly volatile. Never remove your mask outdoors.
Welcome to your new home, people. Hell's Gate. I'm Officer Midori. Not much in formalities, so you can call me Kendra. I'll be in charge of your orientation. Now, which one of you is Ryder?
That's me.
Okay, you stay put. The rest of you, climb on board and you'll be shuttled to the main complex.
The game seems to be sort of rubber banding in terms of how it's being computed or whatever. I think we need to let me think about this. So we're gonna need to, I think, make it so it only runs on like one core. Oh, it already does. Okay. I thought this was like a problem with multiple cores and the game sort of being confused about that, but nah, it's already on core one. I guess I'll have to search the guide real fast.
Maybe it needs to run on multiple cores.
Yeah, we could try. I feel like 4 cores did exist back then. I think, yeah, they did. They were like marketed as being.
Yeah,
Is it-
I mean the Intel i7 processors. I think those came out in 2009.
Yeah, it was the biggest lie ever. Like the only reason I got a quad core computer was because the game Supreme Commander was like, you need 4 cores to play the game, and that's the biggest lie because that game is actually single thread limited today, even on modern computers today. So, complete scam. I don't know when 4 cores ever became actually relevant for gaming, but it was definitely not in 2010. If you have a problem with missing sound effects or disappearing sound, set sound quality to 24 bits. Read this guide for how to do that. I guess we'll do that. Sound problems: cracking, delay, missing music / effects. I suppose you could call our error cracking, maybe. Does sound a little bit. And oh, this screen. I had no idea what this command was going to do, but it's just this screen. Default device. Oh wait, we've already done this. The problem persists, then do this. I guess we'll do that. Just hardware sound acceleration level, Windows XP and older. Yeah, we're not on. My Windows is not 11, but it's not that old. All right, let's see. Oh, this is a Windows Vista interface. It's the arrow thing. I guess it doesn't take kindly to getting minimized. And now it's not starting at all. Oh, we gotta. Maybe it was running it on multiple cores that made it not work. All right. I feel like it was much smoother this time.
Shuttle 2 clear for landing, docking bay 9.
Roger. Initiating final approach. Hell's Gate, docking bay 9.
I think that fixed it.
Every time I tell him, stop sending grunts, and every time, more grunts arrive.
Feels bad, man.
Signals specialist.
Yeah, same thing as far as I'm concerned. But I won't be dealing with you on Pandora, okay? You're Dr. Harper's problem. You disappoint him, and that becomes my problem. So I got 3 words for you. Don't screw up.
I got it.
So file away fantasies of a tropical vacation. If you go cowboy like the rest of these jarheads, you'll be dead inside 2 weeks. I guarantee this planet is the most hostile world you've ever seen. But you keep an open mind, and she'll reward you in ways you can't imagine.
Exopacks on. Repeat, exopacks on. The Pandoran atmosphere is highly volatile. Never remove your mask outdoors. Exit quickly to the forward transport.
Welcome to your new home, people. Hell's Gate. I'm Officer Midori. Not much in formalities, so you can call me Kendra. I'll be in charge of your orientation. Now, which one of you is Ryder?
That's me.
Okay, you stay put. The rest of you, climb on board and you'll be shuttled to the main complex.
Alright, hit F to pay respects to James Cameron's craftsmanship.
Commander Falco's been damn near frantic for your arrival.
Falco.
He's the reason you're here, but I'll let him explain it all. First things first, let's get you up to speed.
Wow. 5 years of sleep in space, and now it's go, go, go.
A lot's happened while you were in stasis, and not all for the better. Now that the noisy stuff is out of the way, let's check your avatar. Dr. Monroe should have it ready to go. You set?
Are you kidding? It's all I've dreamed about for 5 years.
Just watch yourself around Dr. Monroe. He treats the avatars like his own personal guinea pigs.
Let's see. How's the movement? Obviously it's not instant, you know? Like there is like you're sort of issuing directions to an autopiloting car. Which actually I like. I'm not one of those people who think games should respond at the speed of your, mouse spinning around. But of course it needs to not feel like shit also. Ah. Moves out of my way.
What the hell? Eyes open.
Dialogue? there's so many little things that are like impressive now that was common back then. this kind of like dialogue for the side stuff when you go close to it. I mean, that's not something you always find in games these days.
Watch where you're going, Grunt.
Maybe if we do it a lot of times, we'll start saying like funny stuff.
Watch it, scrub. What the?
Yeah, they're dynamic, Like look, like they're being influenced by me walking close to them, so they take different paths. So this guy right here, this guy in the whiter cloths, he was like walking into here. Like his AI pathfinding was like he was being told to walk like forward, but he was sort of facing in this way direction. So he walked a little bit into this wall before he turned around. Like this is really cool. This is more organic than like bad games from current year, where all this stuff is just on rails.
You trying to start something?
How'd you get through basic?
Huh?
I'm laughing so much because it's just a nostalgia trip, like how games used to be in general. It's kind of hard to run at them for long enough that they play a voice line. I think you need to run at them like from the front, and you need to have been running for a while. You can't just like do like this. Let's move on.
The Venture Stars arrive from Earth. Parcels and personal mail will be ready for distribution at 0900 tomorrow. Don't bother coming early. 0900.
Ah, you're one of them avatars, ain't you?
We should maybe wait to read all this stuff. Let's
Day 1 on Pandora, and I feel like crap. Like the worst jet lag with the worst hangover combined. 5 years cryo sleep will do that. I had a quick meeting with Dr. Grace Augustine on the flight in. She wasn't too happy about a grunt joining our Avatar program. I don't care. I'm just happy Earth's way behind me. Time for a new adventure.
Born in California, within the unbroken urban sprawl that runs from San Francisco Bay to San Diego. Raised in a working-class home, Ryder never traveled to any of the off-world outposts. Ryder missed out on the choices afforded to the wealthier kids on Earth, many of whom took opportunities to leave the congested planet for bright futures in colonies on Earth's moon, Mars, and beyond. With few options, Ryder joined the army at 18. Ryder spent 5 years immersed in the military, excelling at decoding and signals. Ryder spent the next 4 years as a signal specialist, interpreting covert codes and data, and earning the nickname Able, common slang for Sig Spec. Ryder became one of the Army's top signal specialists, often brought in when others had failed. Yeah, because he could crack it, and they couldn't. Ryder was assigned to an integrated communications station on the Western Pacific. This new posting, most of the codes Ryder monitored came from a group of environmental terrorists seeking an end to the RDA strip mining operations deep in the Mariana Trench. Ryder's highly skilled code breaking, the military was able to fully neutralize the activities of the terrorists and eliminate them completely from the region. Months later, a disaster at the Mariana mining facility caused widespread loss of life when a controlled collapse of the tectonic plate inadvertently created a man-made tsunami that swept through nearby coastal settlements. Evidence pointed to the disruptive activities of the Mariana terrorists as the leading cause of the disaster. Soon after the disaster, for reasons unknown, Ryder transferred out of active service into corporate code analysis for international conglomerates. Following 3 brutal years of tedium, Ryder was presented with the chance of a lifetime. Ryder was invited back to the RDA for a mission to Pandora. Ryder left Earth for good with little information beyond the fact that the RDA needed the best signal specialists available to them. That Sig Spec is Able Ryder. Now, I feel like, wasn't it from the movie, wasn't growing like an Avatar clone like this thing that took a long time, you know? How does this guy have like an avatar for him? Like when... It looks like he just sort of randomly signed on. We'll hopefully explain it. Alright, what should we read here? I'm not gonna do them all right now. Oh, they're like locked off. Okay. We'll read a tiny bit. We'll do like a little bit on each. The ship. The most realistic spaceship that's been put in any movie that I've ever seen, anyway. Solar vehicle designed to transport personnel, supplies, refined ore, equipment, and data between Earth and Pandora. Yeah, this RDA just does everything. This mining company owns all the tech companies and owns all the manufacturing companies. Yeah, so it's the opposite of how it works in real life right now, where the mining companies are sort of at the bottom in terms of having like pricing power, and you know, like the mining companies sort of compete with each other to sell a commodity, and the tech companies get to have monopolies and have the miners kind of feed into them. But I guess in the future the mining companies have decided they need to own everything downstream of mining. McKinney Tangle Tunnel Superluminal Uplink. Ah yes, FDL Communications. As far as I know, this is the only thing about the Avatar movies that is basically forbidden by science. Everything else is actually, at least not impossible. 70% of light speed. Beamed energy for outward bound acceleration phase. Antimatter for deceleration. Reverses on the return to Earth. This is that is a real spaceship. That actually is how you would go to another star. you push it with with either lasers or some other thing, some other stream of particles. One of the 12 vehicles designed to travel between Earth and Pandora at maximum acceleration and deceleration to quickly reach near light speed. It was designed to carry a large payload of supplies and passengers to establish commercial and scientific outposts on alien worlds. Its ultimate mission is the exploitation of indigenous resources on Pandora. Its structure, which if not for zero gravity would appear almost flimsy, begins with two side-by-side engines. These are attached to a carbon fiber tether leading to the payload section, which includes habitation for crew and passengers in cryosleep. Cargo section. First voyage to the Alpha Centauri system was envisioned. Engineers realized quickly that a conventional rocket was hopelessly inadequate. The starship would have to travel near the speed of light. Its rocket exhaust velocity too had to be near light speed to create sufficient thrust. This eliminated chemically powered rocket engines. Visionaries set their sights on the potential for matter-antimatter reactions. Information energy released and the fusion of matter with antimatter is the only known means of creating the kind of propulsion needed for interstellar travel. That is not true. But yeah, just the pushing the ship using a beamed acceleration with like regular fusion engines is more than enough. Antimatter engines are not necessary. A little trivia: the reason the ship is designed the way that it is, with like the engines here, is because they make a lot of like radiation that you need to protect the crew from, and by placing the engine really far away, you can have like radiation shields. You don't need as much like shields in front of the crew pod by having the radiation spewing engines really far away, and also it's for reasons I'm not like an engineer, so I don't really know why, but it's harder to build a tower of bricks upon bricks upon bricks than it is to build like a hanging like rope. Like you can have like kind of like chains that like interlink, you know, like you can form like a tapering like chainmail kind of structure, and that's a lot easier to keep. You know, you get a lot more like resistance to pulling. You can resist being pulled much easier with that kind of design than you can resist being pushed and crushed with like a skyscraper brick by brick, you know, building that resists acceleration from below. So yeah, that's why this is a very realistic spaceship compared to most spaceships in movies. Yeah, antimatter annihilation creates a lot of energy. Kept in a magnetic field. Photons have momentum. I'm quite impressed that the game is teaching people this. The game is like telling people some real science here. More detailed look at the payload section reveals the crew habitation modules, which consists of two compartments on the opposite ends of transverse truss. A pressurized tunnel runs through the truss, connecting the two units. The general habitation section is an open truss central core around which the pressurized modules are aligned radially. The core truss contains a pressurized rigid central corridor with branching connections to each module. Inside each module is an open frame structure of advanced composites with non-load bearing walls made of foam composite. There's almost no metal used in the structure. There are a number of airlocks for the crew and repair bots, which look like high-tech mechanical crabs. The ship's cryobank is housed in this section. Here, dozens of passengers doze peacefully in artificially induced comas, with bodies kept safe and nourished in chilled cryovaults. Among those put into cryosleep are replacement security forces, minor scientists, and avatar operators. Nearby are the amino tanks used to grow the genetically engineered Navi bodies that will be driven by their human operators. Dangerous encounters. Venture Star is a vast collection of complex interlocking technologies built to travel from one star system to another in the quickest time without killing the crew and destroying the cargo. At the incredible speed it can travel, it is vulnerable to any tiny object striking and destroying it. A single strike by debris the size of a grain of sand could, at near light speed, result in catastrophic failure. Although statistically rare given the emptiness of space, it is believed that a collision over the life of the ship is inevitable. To avoid disaster, elaborate schemes, including shields, course correction, and laser weaponry for protecting the ship have been devised, adding to the complexity of the creation. That is, again, very impressive that the spaceship is so realistic because the way to protect the ship from impact from the front, from tiny things like grains of sand or tiny rocks, right? How it works is that when you're traveling at high speed through empty space, if you detect like a large, like a asteroid, if you detect something of considerable size, you need to move sideways to avoid it, because if it hits you, you're just done. But tiny rocks cannot be detected early enough to move sideways to dodge them, and tiny grains of sand, you probably don't have enough fuel to constantly fire the engines to move sideways over repeatedly, right? So you actually need to shoot like lasers ahead of the ship, like straight ahead of the ship, and just kind of vaporize any tiny rocks constantly. Any interstellar spaceship, like a lightsaber, or like a welding torch moving forward, burning like a clear path through the little mass, the little materials that exist in interstellar space. Alright, the shuttle. Valkyrie. Cargo, supplies, and personnel transported in orbiting interstellar vehicle and surface of Pandora. 60 people, 25 amp suits, single stage to orbit, 20 times the size of the space shuttle. The Valkyrie and other shuttles used on Pandora have been hardened to resist pervasive fields. Its cargo bay can hold troops, amp suits, all necessary ammo and gear, plus large payloads such as specialized electronics and lab equipment that cannot be manufactured on Pandora. The inside of the bay looks much like any terrestrial cargo airplane, with netting to secure payloads to the walls, rollers built into the floor to facilitate unloading, lock bars for the amp suits, and seats for RDA security forces. The most important mission is the transportation of refined unobtainium from the surface of Pandora back to the orbiting ISV. Without this capability, there will be little or no human presence on Pandora. It's the only possible ride back to the mothership. That's the one link, the long highway back to Earth. When the Valkyrie descends through the sky like an arrow, the atmosphere creates friction that heats the pile-protected nose and leading edges of the delta-shaped wings. Hover mode as it nears the landing pad, looking like a windowless metal skyscraper on its side as it slowly lowers itself to the ground. Valkyrie rides on the plume from its dual-mode fusion engine, so powerful it can rocket from Hell's Gate to the mothership in less than 20 minutes. Reach escape velocity without the necessity of achieving multiple orbits to gain momentum. Despite its size, the Valkyrie's mass is small due to the fuselage fashioned from extremely strong non-metallic composite material. The material has high tensile strength, but only 1/4 of the weight of the permalloys used in previous shuttles. Superstructure uses carbon fiber composites in key locations to maximize stability and help conserve fuel. Okay. Technobabble. I suppose it's realistic technobabble, but still. The two exhaust ports are located in the rear, and the engine nacelles are heavily shielded from the cargo bay in the least radioactive section of the director directly parallel to the bay. There's a rear hatch lowers for the unloading of large vehicles and amp suits. There are fold-down stools with passive restraints for the individual passengers, line both long walls of the bay. The amp suit racks are located in the middle of the cargo bay. This feels like the design documents for making the sets for the movies. all this information describing, where things are in relation to each other. The star means It's new. I see. Yeah, okay, I see. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Whenever we get a new piece of information, we're gonna read the new one, as well as one from the same category that we haven't read. Right. Biolab workstation. Biolab workers use state-of-the-art technology to monitor the complex neural transfers involved with the avatar process. Strict redundancy system ensures that any mistakes will be detected immediately and resolved before any neurological damage can be done to avatar or driver. Alright, we'll do this one. Avatar Link Shack. These high-tech structures contain all the necessary technology to operate a psionic link units in the field, often hundreds of kilometers away from the Avatar compound. Solar panels ensure that the shack can remain operational for indefinite periods of time. Right. Alright, so that's how we're gonna do it. Every time we get a lore, we're gonna read 2. So that we eventually catch up. The hog diffuser. They're piping through diffused hogs. What is this? I thought this was like a video game interactable. Like I thought the video game was hinting that I can go here and hit a button, but it's probably a hologram, I'm guessing. Handle with care.
What the hell? Eyes open.
Flight 49er
Great,
has
another
arrived
newbie.
from orbit. Repeat, Flight 49er has arrived.
Well, that was lore. Amino tank. Large hyperplex tank filled with alkaline solution and connected to support apparatus. Function: growth of avatar body during transport from Earth to Pandora. Notes: widely used on Earth for organ regeneration. Amino tanks used by the Avatar project are unusually large to accommodate the Navi-like creatures they are built to create. Standard human amino tank is about 2.2 meters long and holds about 570 liters of fluid. An Avatar tank is 3.8 meters long and holds nearly 6,350 liters of fluid. You can really tell that this takes place in the 21st century because this American expedition to Pandora is using metric, right? you can really tell it's the future. An Avatar tank is 3.8 meters long and holds nearly 6,350 liters of fluid. I bet if we do the math, we will find out that this volume math is correct. That this pod being this long and has this much, and this pod being this long and wide has this much again. In addition, the Avatar tanks are designed to be portable, since most Avatar growth takes place in the interstellar vehicle during the transit to Pandora. Thanks to the long duration of the journey, over 5 years Earth time, less aggressive growth stimulants are needed to bring the Avatar to full adult stature than will usually be necessary. Most organisms grown in amino tanks on Earth are completed within 6 months. Oh, we're getting new lore here. We're getting information that's not in any of the movies. So they don't take that long to make. I just assumed they took like decades to make. More natural growth to full size of avatars meant that research essentially duplicating experiments that are usually carried out on terrestrial mammals did not have to be performed, and also reduced the complexity of the immunotank monitoring system. Indication of the differences between Earth organisms and those found on Pandora is given by the composition of the fluid in the immunotank. The Avatar amino fluid is a relatively strong alkali solution rather than the simple saline that is the base of terrestrial aminofluids. Indeed, it's so strong that most Earth organisms will be largely dissolved by a few weeks of immersion. Human technicians decanting fully matured avatars are required to wear gloves and protective eyewear during the process. Astrobiologists have discovered that Avatar aminofluids reflects the composition of Pandora's oceans, which are also somewhat caustic. I'm a little bit. I don't know. I'm sort of recovering from some influenza that I had a week ago. Bioluminescence. Darkness is rare on Pandora. The large moon orbits a gas giant planet that in turn orbits a star with a stellar companion. Because of this unusual arrangement, most of Pandora's nights are illuminated to the level of earthly twilight. Fully dark nights are few and far between. Thus, there was little evolutionary pressure on Pandoran fauna to develop night vision, echolocation, infrared sensors, or other methods of seeing in low light conditions. Nature found another way for Pandoran lifeforms to locate and identify one another: bioluminescence, the production of cold light by living organisms, employed by almost all Pandoran animals and plants to display their shape and location in the absence of external illumination. Navi have patterns of glowing dots, which, like fingerprints, are unique to each individual. Predator-prey relationship requires that light production to be under the control of the organism. Hunting animals can damp their own glow to mask their approach, as their prey can extinguish their light to conceal themselves. Or plants and animals glow in a single color, often green or blue. The entire visible spectrum is represented. The leaves of the warbonnet fern, Bellicum pennatum, sports a broad red band near their stems and a blue band towards their tips. Also a bioluminescent moss that reacts to footsteps by sending out rings of blue-green light, like ripples on a pond. First human explorers were in awe of the spectacle. Later arrivals from the RDA saw it only as another resource to be exploited in the form of exotic Pandoran jewelry and a line of clothing. Yeah, I'm not knowledgeable about this in real life, but I've always wondered why animals want to emit light. Like, why would like an animal want to like advertise its location? I mean, other than like as a Ferrari, other than like as a signal of success, like, you know, like how like deers have like the antlers and peacocks have peacock tails, like those serve no purpose. They're just a proof that like this guy is so good at getting food that he can afford to waste food energy on this stupid peacock tail, right? Just a way to impress the ladies. But I've always wondered, like, why do some fish glow in the dark? Because like it's just gonna make you be detected, right? And eaten. I don't understand like why nature evolves this, but I'm sure there's like a reason. I just don't know what it is. The light-producing areas on a Pandoran organism can be diffuse and can cover large areas of the body, or they can be localized to discrete positions. Light production can be controlled in the organism by limiting the availability of one or more of the chemicals, ending the reaction in a light organ that can be moved towards or away from the surface, carrying the light from an internal organ to the surface through translucent muscles that can be expanded or contracted, covering the light-producing area with a layer of dark pigment cells, melanophores that can expand to block the light or contract to allow it to escape. Of a dark membrane that can be drawn over the light-producing area or attracted. Some specialized light organs have complex structures containing reflectors, lenses, and even filters to change the color of light emitted. That is the lore, I guess, for James Cameron's Avatar. You know, now we know. A bit of a fan theory here for like Avatar. I think that I mean, I don't know why bioluminescence exists in real life, but I'm guessing that in James Cameron's Avatar, it's like a method of like signal transference, because the whole Pandora thing is like some kind of like Gaia thing, some kind of like all the life is like, you know, in tune with all the other life or whatever. So my fan theory is that glowing light dots are probably just like signal transmission to transfer data around, basically. Not like consciously between like one animal and another animal, but like just sort of unconsciously to serve the purpose of like the, you know, the AWA superorganism or whatever. Basic mechanism. Right. Bioluminescence is a cold light produced by an enzymatic reaction that supplies just enough chemical energy to raise the valence electrons in the molecules of an organic compound to a higher energy orbit. The Electrons then decay back to the ground state, emitting a photon of visible light with an equal amount of energy. This reaction is extremely efficient and converts almost all the chemical energy to light but produces almost no heat. They occur within the life form's own metabolism or within a variety of symbiotic organisms that live in specialized light organs. These light-producing organisms are protected within the body of their host, receiving food and oxygen from it and living in an ideal environment. In return, they provide light on demand and helps to ensure their host's survival. Okay. Typical chemical reactions. Luciferin and luciferase are general terms for the light-producing compound and the enzyme that activates it. The exact composition is specific to the particular bioluminescent species, as is the chemical reaction involved. The simplest type is the direct oxidation of the luciferin catalyzed by luciferase. Next are reactions using ATP, adenose triphosphate, an energy-containing molecule produced by living cells. There's an intermediary in the process. Finally, some bacteria use a multi-stage reaction involving a flavin mononucleotide and a long-chain aliphatic aldehyde. Okay. Alright, we just learned how, we just learned the chemistry, I guess, of, of bioluminescence. Okay. A bit strange to put all this education in a video game, but I guess I kind of like it. I like that it goes all the way. I tend to like the word based didn't exist back then, but I tend to like anything that sort of has a strong creative vision. Anything that just sort of unapologetically does whatever it wants to do. Like the opposite of cringe. You gotta respect it. Alright, so this is where we came from, right?
That's where you're going, Grunt.
Alright, so we have oh yeah, I'm covering it up with my camera. Suppose I shouldn't do that. We have a compass. We have a map. If the game will load. Yeah, it loads eventually.
Watch it, scrub.
I guess this is where we came from. I feel like we're gonna go back to this base multiple times.
Please reroute from Sector 15A. Hostile breach. System shutdown initiated. Service
Hostile
will
breach?
return in 90 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I was reading the lore now because I was thinking like we needed to catch it this time, but I actually think we're gonna go back to this place many times because there's a lot of unnecessary rooms here. Like I'm free to wander wherever I want, which is not like normal for a video game. So I'm thinking for like a corridor shooter, right? So I'm actually thinking we're gonna get to go back to this base many times. So it's not actually that important to find it all now. And the map shows gonna be a lore here. Ah, no, we're gonna talk to him.
If it isn't the signal specialist. About time you showed up. Day 1 and you're already behind schedule. Head over to the link bed. Let's put you into your avatar and see if you're worth the small fortune it cost to send you here. Chop chop. We're not paying you by the hour.
Nice to meet you too.
Senior Science Officer Victor Monroe at your service. And just because your DNA is a 1 in a billion match doesn't mean you can be a princess. Get moving, Tiara.
Oh, so this guy also happens to have the same DNA as somebody else who couldn't go to the Dora mission. What? Like the first movie.
Into the link bed, Dorothy. Into the link bed, Dorothy.
Let's see if there's lore.
What the hell? Eyes open!
Hey, there's lore here. I saw it. Where was it? It's here. Oh, it's here. It's lying right there. So oh yeah, so it says yellow, like a binder with like yellow line. That's lore. Interestingly, the lore does not show up on the compass. So you actually need to, you know, you do actually need to look for them. OPS. Here we go again. These consoles use a gestural method of input for quicker and more specific command options, while the luminous and holographic screens provide a completely immersive 3D workstation. Yeah, we're making this right now. Apple recently made some VR glasses that basically is sort of this. I feel like by the time of the next century, we're going to be, we're going to be wearing those VR glasses all the time. We're going to have virtual, I like the Moby glass in Star Citizen, which is like a phone screen in a video game. We're probably gonna have like apps that are like virtual illusory objects that you can, I guess, access by waving your hand around, or maybe by tracking your eye movement or something, or even just scanning your brain all the time. Maybe. I think something like that is the future. Until we can like put stuff directly into the brain, until we can send sensory input into the brain, and then we'll do that, obviously. But until then, it's gonna be those Google glasses, those augmented reality place. Gonna be the way we use computers going forward, I think. Right, let's read about the EXO pack. Filtration system worn like a backpack with attached mask. Function used to remove toxic gas, including those in Pandora's atmosphere. Some units have been stolen. Some units have been stolen. Others replicated on Earth. What? What? Is RDA stealing masks on Earth and shipping them to Pandora, and others are replicated? What? I don't know. Developed from civilian rebreather technology, the Exopack is a lightweight atmosphere filtration system that allows humans to survive in Pandora's atmosphere with minimum of equipment. Pandora's atmosphere would be easily breathable if it wasn't contaminated by a pungent mixture of carbon dioxide, xenon, and hydrogen sulfide. Additional gas can cause choking when inhaled, followed by unconsciousness within 5 minutes and death not long after. Thus, the partial pressure of oxygen in the Pandoran atmosphere is similar to that of Earth's atmosphere, so in order to breathe, it's only necessary to filter out the toxic compounds. A polymer static rim around the Exopack mask ensures a light, tight seal around the face. Alright, that's news to me. I didn't know that lore from James Cameron's Avatar. Apparently the masks. Yeah, apparently, you don't need to bring your own air supply or whatever. You just need to filter out the bad stuff. Okay. Let's go to the bench. I gotta go put this thing in the fridge though. Also, let me just check that I have enough disk space. Yeah, we're not using a lot of disk space. We have enough for hours. I'm gonna stop playing way before I run out of disk space. Just in case we can't get the lore, I'm gonna do a once over on the base real fast. So.
Watch where you're going, Grunt.
We're gonna mace solve. We're gonna hug the same side of the wall. Take note of any like staircases or other kinds of internal volume. Oh, never mind.
Basic.
Never mind. You're not free to wander around.
Don't break anything, okay?
Into the link bed, Dorothy. This will seem a little strange.
Take it slow. You might feel a bit disoriented.
Looking good, Ryder. You're doing well.
This is trippy.
All's normal. Your readings are solid.
Baby steps, Ryder. You look good.
Whoa. It's okay, Ryder. This is normal. Sit down and we'll send you back.
You're actually quite good at this. With my fine tuning, you'll be zipping about with the best of them. You're a fine specimen, Ryder. Now run along. Officer Midori's waiting for you.
Oh my god. There's lore here. I don't know if this was here before I went in the bed. If it was, that's kind of worrying because I walked past it the first time. Right, psionic link unit. Commonly known as link chambers. These transportable casing units are able to link one human to one avatar, maintaining a neurological link and transferring consciousness between the driver and his or her avatar. Okay. Matter, antimatter, reaction. Matter is the general term for any physical substance whose atoms are composed of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Everything on Earth and everything we have found on other planets consists of normal matter. Antimatter is a kind of a mirror image version of normal matter. Its atoms are composed of antiprotons, antineutrons, and anti-electrons. They not occur naturally, except as a minor output of supernovas and black holes, created with high-energy particle accelerators or other apparatus. When matter and antimatter combine, they transform into energy in accordance with Einstein's famous equation. Just 1 ounce of mass totally converted into energy. It can lift almost 2 trillion tons 1 foot off the ground. Now, that is an intuitive... that really brings it into everyday perspective. 2 trillion tons, 1 foot off the ground. And also, we're not using metric here. this part of the lore is in American units. Freedom units. Development of matter-antimatter power reactors was initially seen as a solution to Earth's energy shortage and pollution problems. Development of matter-antimatter power reactors. So, let me be clear, okay? To produce antimatter requires a lot more energy going in than you're gonna realistically get antimatter, okay? Because it's gonna be inefficient, right? And the antimatter is just it's just a synthetic fuel, okay? It's not actually it's not an energy source. Like, it's not gonna give you more energy. It's just a battery. It's just a way to store power, you know? So, it's a very expensive battery to make. A lot better to just pump water up into a water reservoir and release it later as hydropower. I feel like that's a lot more efficient way to store solar power for use at night. The abundant cheap energy they produced only encouraged the construction of new factories. This in turn created more pollution and increased the demand for scarce natural resources and raw materials. Yes, that's what's going to happen in real life. We are probably going to solve the fossil fuel problem. We are going to like build other power sources, and then we're going to build even more factories, and then we'll have a different problem. we will be taxing the Earth's carrying capacity in a different way. Which, if it turns out that that carrying capacity is not that much, then I could actually see that causing the collapse of human civilization. But I don't think we have the political ability to not make that mistake. So my fingers are just crossed that the Earth is very large and nature can take a beating. Okay. I hope so. I hope we get some self-sufficient asteroid space colonies before we wreck the Earth's biosphere. I do think we are going to wreck it at some point. In the same way that any individual asteroid colony will destroy its biosphere by mistake sometimes. But as long as there are other asteroid colonies, they can sort of retransplant a functional biosphere back to the failed colonies, I think something like that will probably happen to Earth at some point. But hopefully it doesn't happen before we can make those colonies, because if it happens before then that's it. And that's the solution to the Fermi paradox. Antimatter has reversed polarity compared to normal matter. Its nucleus is composed of antiprotons, which have a negative electrical charge, instead of positive, and antineutrons, like ordinary neutrons, have no electrical charge. Surrounded by orbiting anti-electrons, also called positrons, because they have a positive charge instead of negative. Normal matter and antimatter strongly attract each other because of their opposite electrical charges. When they meet, they annihilate each other. Results in the production of enormous quantities of energy. Scientists initially believed that antimatter behaved exactly like its normal counterpart. If this were the case, they wonder why wouldn't equal amounts of both have been created in the Big Bang? Then the matter and antimatter would annihilate each other, leaving only energy to occupy the universe. Experiments near the end of the 20th century revealed tiny discrepancies between the two in the weak nuclear force mediated decay rates of counts versus anti-counts and B mesons versus anti-B mesons. These slight differences favor the creation of normal matter, interacted with what little antimatter appeared, and eliminated almost all of it at the inception of the universe. Researchers also speculated that antimatter might have anti-gravitational properties. They don't. That's been tested in the lab, I think, now. And thus be repelled from normal matter. This theory fostered a vision of floating cities and massive airships. Measurable quantities of antimatter were finally created. It was found to be a response to gravity, just as normal matter does. So, I'm gonna spread misinformation now, but there's like a reason why anti-gravity can't exist. I think, was it related to spin or something? It's like every other force, like electrical charge, right? There's positive charge and negative charge, right? And the positive one is attracted to the negative one, right? Whereas gravity, you have positive mass being attracted to other positive mass, right? So some of the forces in the universe, the same thing attracts the same thing, right? But some of the forces, like with electrical charge, the same charge repels the same charge, but it attracts with the anti-charge, right? And so this is sort of like some forces are like one-sided and some are two-sided, you could say. Like it's, yeah, electrical charge is like two-sided and gravity is like one-sided. Like the positive mass attracts positive mass, right? Whereas with electrical charge, different charges attract, but the same charge repels, right? So there is like a reason why anti-gravity can't really exist, because gravity just happens to be a force where the same attracts the same. If there exists negative mass, I think it would. How would it work? I think it would repel both. If negative mass existed, it would repel mass, and it would also repel other negative mass. Right? If negative mass exists, it would sort of just fly out and scatter everywhere. Right? It would exist in like it would exist in like deep space, in the voids, in the most empty parts of the universe. There you would find like tiny particles or tiny grains of sand of like negative mass. So we wouldn't find it on Earth because it would literally fly off the Earth's surface, right? Because it's, that's how that would work, right? So if anti-gravity exists, which it actually might, there might exist negative mass, but we wouldn't expect to find it on Earth because it would repel from mass, and it would also repel from itself. So not only would we not find it on Earth's surface, but we would also not find clumps of it out there in the universe because it would just repel everything, including itself. But yeah, there's a reason why like the electric force is different from gravity. It has to do with that. I think it's to do with like spin, like things that have odd numbered spins, like gravity. Yeah, then the same type of charge will attract the same charge, and then things that are even, like the electric force, then you have the two that attract. I might be wrong about the spin thing. It might be called something else, but I feel like that's what I learned. The first matter-antimatter power generator. Despite this remarkable breakthrough, the two scientists doubted that their generator would ever be practical for anything less than a major city. It required a massive refrigeration system to maintain the low temperature superconducting magnets that contain the matter-antimatter reaction. Indeed, full 2/3 of the first interstellar vehicle was devoted to its power generating and cooling systems. The subsequent discovery of unobtainium, which remained superconducting at very high temperatures, meant that the matter-antimatter reactor no longer required massive refrigeration units. Increase the speed, cargo capacity, and efficacy of interstellar vehicles. Made the colonization of Pandora a practical reality. Yeah. Okay. And the folder remains, the yellow folder, or whatever this is called, like the binder. This thing remains after you have found the lore. It does not disappear like a video game item. So you don't really know if you've found all the lore or not.
What the hell?
But
Eyes
listen,
open.
you need to find Kensington and help him bring the side gates online. They just shut down. The grid is showing red along that line. I don't know what's going on today.
In a weird way, this game reminds me of a completely unrelated game. Knights of the Old Republic. Those Star Wars RPG games. Something about the look of the game and the bass and the pacing and the music. Like, something about this just gives me a kind of KOTOR vibe. I don't mean the MMO. I guess that's not called KOTOR. It's called Tor, the Old Republic. Those KOTOR games are great.
Commander Falco's ready for you.
Especially the second one.
Eager to meet you. He usually doesn't interact with the avatars. Hates them.
Folks got a thing against avatars?
Like I said, there's more going on here than you know. You don't want to be in his bad books. Elevator will take you to Falco. Good luck, Ryder.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, don't get on Falco's bad side. A lot is riding on this.
You better go see Falco. Take the elevator to the command center.
Am I tracking it, or? Resources. A travel agent. Huh. Use like map filters.
Watch where you're going, Grunt.
Maintenance, please report to the motor pool. Maintenance.
Now that we know what to look for, let's make sure there's no missing lore in here.
Don't break anything, okay?
I don't remember if there was lore here. I mean, these are the binders, right? Maybe the binders are not related to the lore. Maybe they just happen to be near the first few ones. Yeah, there's one here, yeah.
How'd you get through basic?
Yeah, they're playing the mini game. They're playing the Pandora Conquest game on the screen.
Specialist tag remains unaccounted for. The sweep has begun outside the load. Please report any sightings.
We gotta walk through this room, look for lore. Ah, there it is. Is it here or? No, it's over here. Alright, is there a binder? No. Okay, this is the first lore where there is no like binder. I guess the binders were just something I thought was relevant, but it's actually not. Alright. More reading with a tickly influenza throat for me. Ops Halo Station. Generally linked satellites provide topography and GPS tracking. These large holographic projection tables are used to provide real-time 3D imaging of battlefield operations. They're also frequently used to stage large-scale training exercises and tactical wargaming situations. Okay, I guess we're on this one now. Superconductivity. Uses interstellar transportation, superluminal communication, matter-antimatter reactors, Earth transport. Notes: vital to Earth economy, ultimate motivation for exploration and colonization of Pandora, and repression of the Na'vi. Ordinary electrical conductivity occurs when the outer valence electrons of an item are not strongly bound, can be freed with very little effort. Metal is the prime example of conductive material, particularly copper, silver, and gold. However, the resistance of metal wire is not zero. Some of the electrical energy is converted to heat as the current passes through the wire. This requires that an electrical conductor have a large diameter in order to carry large amounts of current, both to reduce the overall resistance and to prevent the wire from heating to its melting point. Ordinary resistance decreases as the temperature decreases, but resistance does not drop to zero even when temperature is lower to absolute zero, or nearly absolute zero. The temperature of absolute zero is some number. Very low temperatures are measured in degrees Kelvin, sometimes called simply kelvins, which are the same size as the centigrade degrees. Yes, the metric system is best. Start at 0 for absolute zero. Room temperature is about 300 K or 27 C or 81 Fahrenheit. Superconductivity is the result of an entirely different phenomenon from that which occurs in ordinary conductors at lower temperatures. Even now, it's not completely understood. How clever! The game doesn't explain how superconductivity works because we don't actually know how it works in real life right now anyway, so it's good that the game doesn't commit itself to a specific explanation and thus open itself up to aging badly. In essence, superconductivity requires that electrons carrying electrical energy pair up and move in perfect unison. unlike those in normal conductor, which jostle each other in a mad rush towards the finish line. Superconductivity was initially discovered at only temperatures very near absolute zero and were considered merely laboratory curiosity. Over the centuries, substances were created that superconducted at higher and higher temperatures. Today, they function well above the boiling point of water. Whenever an electrical current flows, it creates a magnetic field. One of the properties of superconducting material is the ability to repel such fields. The repulsion is so strong that a piece of superconducting material will float on a magnetic field. In an ordinary wire, the magnetic field occupies the metal as well as the space around it. In a superconducting wire, the field is expelled from the material and only exists in the surrounding space. Unfortunately, very high currents create a very strong magnetic field, which can force its way back into the superconducting material. The encroaching field causes the material to lose its superconductivity. Almost all the electrical energy present is immediately converted to heat, sometimes with catastrophic results. Yes. Much research has been done to improve superconductors' resistance to magnetic penetration. As of today, unobtainium has by far the best performance. Under certain circumstances, it is even possible to trap an intense magnetic field within unobtainium. This unique and baffling property has opened up many new applications and areas of research. Superconductivity is the property of certain materials to conduct electricity with absolutely no resistance and thus no loss of electrical energy dissipated as heat in the wire. Manifestation of quantum physics rather than just the normal reduction of electrical resistance with temperature. Superconducting materials also have unique magnetic properties. Modern civilization is dependent on superconductive technology for the major areas of power generation, transportation, and interstellar travel. In addition, many specialized applications such as superluminal communication and computer hyperchip manufacturing computer hyperchips would be impossible without it. Applications. Until the discovery of unobtainium on Pandora, the commercial use of superconductivity was limited by the need to refrigerate the material to liquid nitrogen temperatures. The primary use was for magnetic levitation trains. A minor application was for frictionless bearings on armatures that rotated in a vacuum chamber, such as gyros on spacecraft. The only other significant use was in scientific research instrumentation because cost was not a major consideration. The giant particle accelerator built in the old European Union at the beginning of the 21st century was a prime example. Unobtainium's ability to superconduct at high temperatures solves the two main problems that plagued earlier projects: the need for massive refrigeration systems and the dispersal of the huge amount of waste heat they remove. On Earth, the heat is easily dumped into the atmosphere. After the demise of all the Kenya-packed global warming regulations, at least, or nearby bodies of water. What? It makes no difference if you dump it in the water or the air. The heat gets out either way. Yeah. In fact, it wouldn't matter even if you didn't dump the heat, because the heat would get out either way. Like what? Also, the waste heat produced directly by like a machine is not really going to contribute to warming the planet very much. That's not really going to matter much for global warming. For spacecraft, however, the elimination of waste heat in a vacuum requires many tens of thousands of square feet of radiating surface operating at highly elevated temperatures that is tricky, to say the least. History of discovery. When superconductivity was discovered in 1911, it was believed to be a property of matter near the temperature of absolute zero, but early researchers found tantalizing hints that it could occur at higher temperatures. Progress was slow. 30 years later, only 16K had been reached. Niobium nitride, a compound of niobium and nitrogen. Research continued. It was found that pure metals, even excellent conductors like copper and gold, were not suitable candidates for high temperature superconductivity. Trial and error determined that exotic ceramic materials held great promise. By the late 1980s, an yttrium-based cuprate perovskite material had been created that functioned at 92 Kelvin. Far above the temperatures of liquid nitrogen, this led to the first practical application: superconducting magnets for large nuclear particle accelerators. At the beginning of the 21st century, tin, barium, calcium, copper oxide broke the 200 Kelvin barrier. Progress halted until Chinese researchers discovered a compound. This is almost what happened, but it was a scam, obviously. The YK, whatever it was called, the Korean compound. Chinese researchers discovered a compound that remained superconducting up to a boiling hot 393 Kelvin. The joy was short-lived, however. The substance proved impossible to synthesize in more than microgram quantities because its crystal structure was inherently unstable. repeated efforts by both Chinese and Indian scientists led nowhere. The long-sought superconductor was given the name unobtainium. It was given the name unobtainium, later shortened to unobtainium. What? Unobtainium? Unobtainium is shortened to unobtainium. Okay, I never knew that it was called unobtainium in the movie. Okay. Match the pattern of the names of the elements. Their matter stood until the discovery of the bizarre magnetic fields encountered on Pandora were caused by naturally occurring deposits of high-temperature superconducting mineral. Unobtainium had been obtained at last. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's where we are.
Ryder, hard to believe you're finally here. Seems like a lifetime ago I approved your commission papers.
Reporting for duty, sir.
Drop the formalities, kid. I've got a priority 1 situation. Someone in the Avatar program is feeding classified RDA info to the local Na'vi tribe. If word gets out what we're planning, we could have a full-scale native uprising on our hands.
What exactly are we planning?
You'll see soon enough. It was me who fought to get you here. Your skills as a codebreaker are highly underrated on this planet. Play your cards right and you'll go far. Screw up, and this planet will spit you out like pogey bait.
I'll do my best.
Right now, your job is to find that mole. Gather your gear and thumb a lift to the lagoon base. Time to hit the ground running.
So, our job is... We're like a codebreaker, guys. So, our job is to basically police our own organization. We're like an internal... We're gonna try to detect people who are not doing their job properly. Oh, lore. There's lore here. Here, it's not there. It's here. RDA. Alright, now we're gonna get some real lore, because I have no idea what the story of this mega corporation is. RDA. Resources Development Administration. Common name RDA or the Corp. The largest single non-governmental organization in the known universe. Massive corporation involved in interest ranging from mining, transportation, medicines, weapons, and communication. So, mining, transportation, medicines, weapons, and communication. So, yeah, it's not too weird. I've seen stupider conglomerates today. More powerful than most Earth governments. Yeah, sure. That is true. I mean, well, is it? Is it today? You could, you could say companies like Apple and Google are sort of worth a lot of money, more than some small countries, right? But I suppose they're not more powerful than a lot of small countries. The RDA has monopoly rights to sell all products shipped, derived, or developed from Pandora and any other off-Earth location. Wow, they patented space. Any other off-Earth location. These rights were granted to RDA in perpetuity by the Interplanetary Commerce Administration. It seems kind of dumb to give one company like a patent on space. I feel like you want at least 2 companies to get some competition there. These rights were granted to RDA in perpetuity by the Interplanetary Commerce Administration, with the stipulation that they abide by a treaty that prohibits weapons of mass destruction and limits military power in space. With 263 million shareholders. Pension funds invest in all companies, right? So surely everybody is a shareholder. RDA is the oldest and largest of the quasi-governmental administrative entities, QGAEs, but its origins are far more modest. Oldest and largest, the quasi-governmental administrative entities. So the Avatar universe has this like corporate complex that's too big to fail. So the governments aren't taking them down. But its origins are far more modest. The entity that would become RDA was little more than a Silicon Valley garage startup in the early 21st century. Its two founders borrowed money from a family members to begin the company. Within a few decades, the company had the stature to propose construction of a world-spanning rapid transit system that would allow entire population groups to conveniently commute hundreds or even thousands of miles to perform work where it was needed, without impinging on the cultural values of host populations. This led to the current global network of maglev trains that require the superconductor unobtainium for their continued operation. The company's early expeditions to Pandora were seen as a colossal risk. Construction of the IC Venture Star alone put an enormous strain on capital resources. Exclusive mining rights to unobtainium, which at the time of publication is valued at 20 million per kilo. Potential profits from countervirals, biofuels, and cosmetics. Oh yeah. I guess you import a plant and you grow it on Earth. I was wondering if we were shipping plants, shipping the volume cargo back. I mean, cosmetics, the enormous capital investments, and cosmetics. What is that? How does that work? Think about the control tower. Although designed primarily as flight control towers, these structures are fully equipped should the need arise for high-level remote command. The reinforced concrete base is specifically designed to prevent scaling by large Pandoran predators, while the top of the tower is equipped with repulsors to prevent avian creatures from perching on the roof. When I get these lore snippets, maybe I shouldn't actually read the latest lore. I should just read like the next two. Easier to remember which one I read that way. We go here? No. Oh, that's why it's lighting up. It's like an elevator. I love the I love the black bars. It really makes it more cinematic. Is that what that option was? Force widescreen POV or whatever? No.
Where do you want to go?
Actor Quest 1. We're free to like travel back and forth and stuff. This game is like Ratchet and Clank. It's kind of strange actually that Ratchet and Clank lets you travel around because I mean it makes you feel good as a kid, but there's almost never any reason to like visit a planet you've already cleared in Ratchet and Clank. That almost never happens. Only like a few times you gotta go back to a planet at some later point.
Welcome to the park, sir. The park? Yeah, Blue Lagoon. We fenced in the whole area. Big chunk of Pandora wilderness. You want to see the planet? This is the safest place to do it. How are we supposed to see the planet from inside a fence? Seriously, man, you do not want to go beyond the fences, okay? I heard about a dude lost his arm to a plant. A freaking plant. You serious? Like the clap. Officer Midori's waiting for you near the main gate.
Alright, we'll read about Alpha Centauri. Approximately 4.3637 light years. Alpha Centauri A, or ACA, the brightest of the three stars comprising the Alpha Centauri system, is similar to Earth's Sun, although it's roughly 20% larger. There are 5 planets revolving around the star, including the ash giant Polyphemus. Since Polyphemus' orbit is about 20% larger than Earth's, Alpha Centauri A appears almost identical to the Sun as seen from the Earth. Planets orbiting ACA were not discovered until late in the 21st century. Home system of Pandora, a moon of Polyphemus. Navi. The park. A large wildlife section protected by security fences, allowing RDA scientists to conduct research in a protected environment. Function research zone. Tensions run high between the Navi Ipani and the local RDA forces around Blue Lagoon. Affectionately known as the park. This lagoon base is one of the largest RDA operations on Pandora. The huge fence line literally brings the jungle inside the camp, allowing RDA personnel to work with a modicum of safety. In addition to the many scientific and research functions in the area, Blue Lagoon is home to the Avatar teams led by Dr. Reen Harper. The primary mission is to study a reticent local Navi clan known as the Tani. RDA maintains a strong security presence in the region, with a large troop contingent protecting the many human encampments along the waterways. PBR Gators maintain supply and transport routes, while providing an excellent alternative to land-based vehicles. Yeah, there was another, here.
Day 2, and they got me hunting moles. That's a hell of a way to make friends. Still trying to get a beat on why I'm here. Falco, the base commander, seems to have big plans for me. Not sure who I can trust just yet, but there's one person, Kendra Midori. She seems... well, I don't know. Whatever. I've been assigned to some place they call the Park. Blue Lagoon's the official name. Whatever the name, it's a chance to check out the wildlife. And my avatar.
Ryder, you're just in time. We've got troops caught in the wire. They're reporting Viper Wolves moving on them.
Viper Wolves?
You'll love them. You've worked a turret, right? Good. Climb the main gate and lay down some covering fire. Move it!
Turret sections in video games are the best. There's some nice animations. 2009. Whoa. Launch. Ah, right click spins you around. Middle mouse is this. Holy fuck! I'm trying to fill out my Pokédex. Okay. I scan you. What? I got his stats? Health, defense, attack. Find. Come on. Jesus Christ. Can we please? It dies so fast. I can't get a scan. That first scan was like our only good chance. I blew it. You know, this mission played itself because my allies just killed everything, but I like that the allies inflict real damage. And I think they can even die. I think they have like health and stuff. And that is so rare. That is, most video games don't do that. Most of the time your allies are just sort of they look like they're shooting and inflicting damage, but they really don't, you know, in these kinds of Ubisoft EA games or whatever. It's usually just fake.
You're a lifesaver.
Warning. Full breach. Shaft 17.
Alright. Oh, you're right. Anemonid. Navi name. Yeah. Fuck. Am I gonna try to say this? This is so hard. Nashutshvil. Holy fuck. Did I just say that? I don't know. I'm not gonna try again. I don't know if I said the X right. Metal following plant. Pananemon stellare or leafy anemone and hairy. Okay. Botanical description: large forest herb with flattened top that resembles the sea anemone and hair-like leaves. Flat plate-like surface is covered with digestive enzymes for trapping insects. Anemonoid is largely carnivorous, trapping insects in its flattened, sticky top surface. It's unique among the Pandoran plants in that it absorbs small amounts of anoponium from the soil. Are we going to be gathering these for crafting materials or for level ups? Botanical oddity has no known use on Pandora, but is being studied for possible export to Earth for use in cleaning up polluted soil. The anemonoid is one of the several carnivorous plants on Pandora that obtains most of the nutrition from other organisms rather than from making its own through photosynthesis. A large flattened meristem at the top of the plant is covered with a sticky aromatic substance that attracts insects, which are quickly trapped once they land. Digestive enzymes on the plant's surface then break down the insect bodies to obtain nitrogen and other essential elements. The anemonid is rather unique. In another feature, its roots absorb metals from the soil rather than the typical mineral elements needed for plant growth. This gives the plant the ability to move in response to a magnetic field, which was named magnetonasty by the first scientists who studied this behavior. Anemonoids will turn and lean towards anyone walking by carrying a metal object. Research is underway on Earth to determine whether anemonoids could be used in bioremediation to detoxify soil contaminated with heavy metals, or possibly as a tool for mining. So far been inconclusive. If export is allowed, it's likely to be a favorite in horticulture trade with tracking abilities. Bladder polyp. Rop. Polypiferous brevissimus, named for the resemblance to polyps. Brevissimus means very short. Small succulent sac-like plants that grow in clusters close to the ground resemble succulent stone plants on Earth. Larger succulent leaves store water and salt and are eaten by animals. Smaller brown leaves are adopted to use animal waste for nutrition. Navi harvest and eat the bladder polyp's salty succulent leaf. Bladder polyp is a simple plant with succulent leaves that grow in a mound directly on the ground. Larger teal-colored leaves store water in their tissues and are very attractive to animals for food. Leaves are eaten or removed, new ones quickly grow in their place. Plant benefits from this sacrifice of leaves because animals that graze will leave droppings on or around the plant, although most plants are unable to use raw manure due to its high concentration of salt and ammonia. The bladder polyp is a halophyte, meaning it has adapted to live in salty soils. Smaller brown leaves close to the ground are able to absorb a high concentration of ammonia. Salt accumulates in the larger succulent leaves, which causes the absorption of large amounts of water by osmosis, effectively diluting the salt. Navi eat bladder polyps, their juicy salty taste, which is somewhat like a pickle.
Hull breach. Shaft 17.
Not bad for a signal specialist.
Thanks.
This isn't over yet. We still have a man deep in the wire. Grab a buggy and help him out. Kid's name is Dalton, and he's pretty spooked.
What spooked him?
Guess you're gonna find out.
Well, it's no Warthog from Halo, that's for sure, but okay, I guess. See the game physics yet. Not quite an instant stop. I don't think there's any drift here. Ah, there's some. Dude, look at this map. Look how like non-linear this map is. Look how there's like I can like do this. Like, I'm just gonna say it. A lot of modern games don't let you try to do what I just tried to do. Okay. usually you're just off limits. Can we please? I just want to have a look. No! No, don't kill them. Fuck. Soldiers there, there's soldiers there. Oh. We have our skills. Come on! No! Fuck. Oh my god, it's so hard. It's... What the fuck? Oh, do I need to use this? Do I need to use this mode? The slow-mo bullet time thing? Maybe that's how we do it. We need slow-mo. Alright, slow-mo. Scan. Oh! Can you... Do I gotta shoot my human allies to get to scan this thing? I'd really appreciate it if the DPS on my team could be a bit lower. Come on! Yes! We got it! I knew it was gonna work. I felt it. I saw it. I was like, yes, this one is arranged just the right way. He's not gonna randomly dart to the side. He's not gonna be targeted by my stupid allies.
I need these.
Oh, that's the repulsor thing. I don't know what this number 2 thing is. So this is like some kind of... We can read what they do. Elite training. Move faster. Some kind of dodge mechanic gets enabled. Pulsar. Heal. Stealth. I gotta... I'm not gonna walk around in the hand mode all the time. Yeah, I guess we we gotta go around actually. Yeah, that is a dodge. The game is quite laggy for some reason. So, it's probably a lot harder than it's supposed to be to aim on these things.
Thank God you're here. The place is infested with those dogs. I had to slip in here and try and lose them. You gotta help me. I can't leave till I DF a signal, and I got Viper Wolves everywhere. This mission's priority 1 from Commander Falco. It's to track Navi activity or something. I can't get it working.
Calm down. What do you need?
I need a signal, and I ain't never done this stuff before.
I'm a signal specialist!
Make it back to base, okay. I'll lock the signal for you.
For real? Oh man, you're saving my ass. You gotta head a couple of mics northeast. That's the spot.
Alright, this is perfect. Like literally my area of specialization. Gotta get the signal.
You need to set the signal to the Navi village. They'll track it back at HQ. You need to set the signal to the Navi village.
Alright. I think I just got another skill, right? Now we can swap out something. No? No. I felt like yeah, I did get another one. Reduces damage for a short duration. That's gonna be good. That is gonna be nice. I'm not getting any use out of this thing right now. Probably a skill issue. But I guess we'll go for the tanky DPS. Reduce damage, heal, knock back enemies to reduce damage even more. Stealth. I don't know if this works like in combat. It might not. Maybe I'll swap out the stealth, but yeah. If it turns out the stealth doesn't like work in combat, like you need to be undetected to really use stealth, then I'll swap it out. But me, it sounds like makes you untargetable by the enemies for a while, so obviously that's gonna prevent you from taking damage. Alright, now we got a bunch of stuff, so we got two scans. I guess that means we read 3 or 4. Lionberry. Navi name. This WLL. I have no idea how to pronounce this. This was on the previous weird name too. WLL. I'm considering trying to pronounce it, but maybe not. This is gonna be too hard. Decumbines, named for this resemblance to artichoke thistle on Earth, Singrana, and lying down growth worm, same genus as the thistlebud and hermitbud. Large herb with a central flower cluster surrounded by narrow, strap-like leaves. Buds are very light compared to float, while the plant roughly 5 meters. Tiny cactus-like leaves grow along the ground for protection from herbivores. These used for food, petals, and for paint. Similar to the thistlebud and hermitbud, the lionberry grows a cluster of flowers and inflorescent resembles a single flower like a sunflower family on Earth. Samples of the lionberry were taken to Earth with the thistlebud and hermitbud to study their genetic relationship and possible introduction to Earth ecosystem. The plant grows stems along the ground with spiny cactus-like leaves as a defense against herbivores that would eat it. Seeds are large and a good source of protein. Each flexible stem of a lionberry plant is topped by a single inflorescence bud that can grow to a giant size. The buds are composed largely of parenchyma tissue filled with air spaces, and in the low gravity on Pandora are quite buoyant. Plants grow in patches, which gives the appearance of a garden of floating blue balloons. Picture. Yeah. Ow. Or ow. Yeah. I do believe that's how you pronounce an apostrophe, as you just say the thing right in front of the apostrophe very directly. No combining it with what comes out after, so this is either A or A. Au. Planta purpurea cordata. Root name means purple heart-shaped plant. Single large purple leaf resembling a baseball mitt grows from the soil. Remainder of the plant grows entirely underground as parasitic on the roots of the plant. This game is just amazing for people who are interested in botany, which is not me, but the leaf of the picture is a sentinel leaf whose survival signals the plant that the environment is suitable for flowering, which occurs soon after the leaf expands. Human colonies collect the leaves, uses baseball mitts, but have learned from Navi to harvest them only when they occur in groups that the species is not driven to extinction. The picture is not shaped like a picture at all, but instead looks something like a giant purple baseball mitt. It was named by an ex-marine with little knowledge of botanical nomenclature. This plant was a unique and rare lifestyle on Pandora in that it grows almost entirely underground, where it's a parasite on the roots of other plants. These unseen parts tap into the water and nutrient reserves and absorb carbohydrates from the host plant. Pitcher is a flowering plant, however, it needs a means of pollinating the flowers in order to produce seeds and ensure its own survival. The large mitt-shaped purple leaf emerges from the soil once the hidden plant is mature, and it serves as a sentinel that tests the environment for suitability. If it survives to fully expanded size, the plant produces a flowering stalk next. Rare sight. Giant purplish black flowers smell like rotting flesh and are pollinated by flies and carrion-eating beetles. Large leaves are useful as a leather substitute, and human colonists on Pandora have developed a crude baseball mitt from them. However, the Na'vi are careful not to overharvest the leaves, which could prevent flowering and drive the species to local extinction. We'll read one more. Thorny Paw. Ele WLL again. Sigmodia barbata. Name means curved or S-shaped and barbed. Large succulent cactus-like plant with long barbed spines and growing tips. Short spines all over and no leaves. Stores water in its tissues and spines to prevent it from being eaten. Spines are ejected forcefully when the plant is disturbed. Lives in salty soils high in ammonium. God, there's so much. A pod. Ammunition packaging dispensers, popularly called APODs, are standard RDA supply stations for troops operating in the field. The units' access panels are sealed with encrypted locks to prevent supplies from falling into enemy hands. Biolab wars. Biolab workers use state-of-the-art technology to monitor the complex neural transfers involved with the avatar process. We've already read this one. We went through this one, right? No, did we? Facility on the Hell's Gate complex on Pandora, offices, communication center, meeting rooms, and living quarters used by RDA executive staff. Located above Armor Vault and Sec Ops Barracks. In the interest of maintaining high levels of operating efficiency, efforts were made during the construction of the Hell's Gate complex to maintain a congenial working environment for senior RDA staff. Unfortunately, manpower depletion caused by Pandoran megafauna meant that some compromises had to be made. For example, the Executive Habitation Unit, equipped with comfort features comparable to those found at RDA's Lunar Isotopic Helium Extraction Facility, was deferred until the third resource transport arrived. B and C level executives were quartered with SecOps and construction staff. Special apartments were constructed in the Ops Center for A-level staff. These quarters remain to this day, although individual apartments have been enlarged by merging what were originally separate units. A senior-level annex has been constructed within the Ops Center and the Executive Habitation Unit, properly known as the Condo, used only by B and C-level executives. Where do the D-boys live, though? A-level executives have generally taken their quartering in the Ops Center in stride. Being close to the heart of the Hell's Gate's operation has come to be considered an asset due to numerous challenges inherent to the frontier-like conditions on Pandora. RDA Operations Center, or Ops Center, occupies the largest building in the main Hell's Gate administration complex. It's the nexus for communications and operational control in Pandora. Fortified tunnels connect the center to the communications array with 3 large antennae and a space resonator for communications outside the local system, and 5 smaller antennae for accessing PandoraNet communications and geolocation satellites. At the heart of their Ops Center is the control room, where a continuously updated holotable display gives a summary of conditions over the entire Hell's Gate facility and all ongoing RDA operations on Pandora, while supervisors monitor all mining, refining, and transport and security conditions on workstations. Ample reinforced windows give the control room a spectacular panoramic view from the plateau where the base is situated, out over the river, used for cooling and to dispose of waste to the distant hills beyond. We've read this one. Solar panels, yeah. I think we read this one. Yeah. And what about this one? This is the last one. These RDA structures are lightweight, durable, and highly versatile for deployment in remote areas. They are often elevated as safety precautions against predators, dangerous plant life, and shifting rivers. Alright, that's all of them. Oh boy. Term assault rifle is derived from the German word Sturmgewehr, literally meaning storm rifle. The RDA assault rifles lives up to that moniker, giving the user enough rapid firepower to storm through any dense jungle. The newer Barrow model provides the same firepower with stylistic modifications. Dual Wasp. The Wasp pistol has reliability of a standard revolver along with the latest in high-tech punch. Particular use on Pandora, where many of the threats are large and cannot be brought down with the standard RDA issued sidearms. Standard rifle is the primary long-range rifle used by the RDA security forces to the solar system and beyond. The standards have outstanding power and accuracy and are fully capable against enemy infantry and soft shell targets. Newer ARG-O model provides the same firepower with stylistic modifications. Combat shotgun. Phalanx. This RDA designed shotgun uses a high-powered shell to fire dispersal spray of small spherical pellets, the highly effective close-quarters weapons. M60. Heavy machine gun utilizes depleted plutonium rounds, not uranium, that rip through armor without compromising on an impressively high rate of fire. At close range, the weapon is a powerhouse. Brasher armor. Lightweight plating designed for close range patrol or quick strike units. The Brasher armor is popular among troops engaged in lengthy field patrols. Viper. Lightweight and mobile, this fabric woven armor still offers solid protection against blunt trauma and small arms projectiles. A reliable biogenetic amplification system assists in the day-to-day activities of the users. Okay. Oh, this is like some Dead Space armor. Mishethica armor. Mishethica armor is the RDA's latest issue, providing soldiers an excellent balance in terms of heavy-duty protection and agility. Despite the bulk, the Mishetic armor is lightweight and flexible, allowing field troops extended exposure to the hostile Pandoran jungle without overheat or exhaustion. Career. Specialist assault rifle. RDA soldiers are private security officers deployed across Pandora. The Grunt represent the vast majority of units deployed on the remote. In combat, they are jack of all trades, master of none. Grunts use a variety of weapons, but have little expertise in heavy weapons or armor. Oriole. Buggy control scheme. I don't think it was buggy. I thought it worked fine. W or up. Space left control handbrake. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't discover that on my own. Alright. Relimuris. Night squirrel. Rainforest canopy. Large binocular-like eyes, ape-like skull with fleshy snout. Small nostrils and jaw. Teeth are needle-sharp, membranous wing flaps. Split upper lip. Arboreal herbivore. Teeth adapted to cut through tensile strength of Pandoran flora. Known to eat insects on occasion. Predators include manchi viper wolf. Reach over 1.5 meters tall. Offal of the Prolimerus is considered a delicacy among some Navi clan and is used in food wraps. This shattering, unaggressive tree dweller prefers the relative safety of the canopy to the dangers of the rainforest floor. Prolimerus has lateral membranes that grow out of its sides and between its lower arm and thigh. It leaps from tree to tree, the wind catches in the flaps and slows the animal's rate of fall. They have hollow bones, and the density of their musculature and flesh is also porous, which is much lighter than they appear. Even the largest weigh only 6 kilograms. Prolimerus can use its forearms to move through the trees faster than an average man can run. Its near perfect balance and its superb depth perception allows it to leap from branch to branch while selecting just the right handhold out of the forest mosaic. Ears are long, drooping flaps that can move independently of one another in order to track sounds in precise stereo field. Those are webbed and have a vestigial thumb nub that helps the animal cling to branches. To arms that bifurcate into 4 forearms. The upper bones of the arms have fused, enabling mobility as they navigate through the xenobiologists believe that this may be an evolutionary precursor to the 4-limbed Navi. One digit is a 4-jointed finger topped with a human-like fingernail. The other is a 2-jointed thumb that is adapted for clasping tree limbs and vines. They dwell in the trees in large tribal groups. Although there are some violent intertribal contests to establish hierarchy, there is little battle between tribes. They are highly social, although they do not care for their young as avidly or carefully as Terran chimpanzees. Still, the Polymerus is a diligent and effective breeder, with the female coming into mating season 3 times a season. Mating habits are similar to some species of Terran apes, including the now extinct gorilla, Hamadryas baboon, and the howler monkey, along with several human cultures as well. Alpha male Polymerus will mate with several females concurrently and assist childbearing for each offspring. This polygamous arrangement is by no means an indication of male dominance. It is believed that the Polymerus social structure is largely matriarchal. Female clearly in charge of the mate selection process. Okay. Viper wolf. Nantang. Anipheratus cristatus, or striped armored wolf. 6 legs, mostly black, but banded with vermilion and iridescent blue. Burnished, hairless skin. Low-slung head with chitinous armor around the neck. Amphipod plating on the back of the neck and spine. Bioluminescence for pack identification. Distensible, snake-like jaw with obsidian-like teeth. Leathery paws, have opposable thumbs. Shows characteristics of canid on the evolutionary path to simian. Mostly nocturnal carnivore, pack hunter with territories ranging over 480 kilometers. 25 meters long, 70 centimeters tall. Human-like grip allows him to hunt in rainforest canopy as well as on ground. Revered by the Navi for its fierce intelligence, strong familial bond, and a devotion to its pack. With 6 legs and a lean, powerful torso, the Viper wolf has evolved to travel swiftly over long distance in its search for prey. The ratio of brain mass to body weight of the average adult Viper wolf indicates a high order of mental processing, pattern recognition, and communication skills. Their keen, intelligent green eyes can see as clearly at night as in day. Long-distance vision is only moderate, but their depth perception is superb. The smell is second only to the Thanador, based on the few creatures who have been measured to date. I believe that the Viper wolf can sense prey from more than 8 kilometers away. Very few predators, the mountain banshee among them, will attempt an attack on a Viper wolf. It nearly always moves in a pack that can mass into a highly cooperative hunting party within seconds. The pack appears to communicate information about the potential prey or predator with facial tics, paw gestures, and audio cues. Viper wolf hunts in small groups, communicating with short coyote-like barks and yelps. Primate-like paws, which include opposable thumbs, allow it to climb trees as well as stalk from the ground, thereby creating a 3-dimensional hunting field. Stalking prey, the Viper wolf is able to reduce its profile by hugging the ground or clinging to tree limbs. Thus hidden, a Viper wolf can often approach within a few yards of unsuspecting prey. Attack with frightening efficiency. One biologist described this graceful, ominous movement as liquid darkness. Only months after birth, a Viper wolf cub is required to hunt on its own. However, the cubs mature swiftly and grow to half the adult size per their. And they also have a full set of teeth, and their jaw muscles are almost mature. Viper wolf's jaws can exert 4 kilograms of pressure per square centimeter, easily enough to crush bone or even stone. Okay. Let me equip my infinite ammo pistols. I don't want to spend the ammo on this. I'm assuming these encounters here are like infinitely spawning and not that challenging. Okay. Walk on this thing? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they'll. I can just walk. I can just walk out on the map. Is there Is there like a map? Can I watch the big map? Yeah, this is a big map. Yeah, the pistols are really bad. Oh fuck, I'm literally gonna die. Fuck. I actually had the healing skill. I could have healed. This wasn't fast enough to... I clicked the wrong button. I really like... The game isn't a total cakewalk. During those first few fights where we had the allies, the game seemed like super easy, but I guess it's not. I feel like the game is harder than it should be because just the performance is so bad that it's just kind of hard to hit the enemy. Like it's not bad now, right? But when the enemy is running at you, the performance like tanks. So, performance is bad right when you need it to aim. Oh, plant. I don't have this plant. That fucking plant is so funny. Why? Ah, there we go. Yay, more reading. Best. These spiky mushroom-like plants have a hard membrane skin that supports the weight of the plant, allowing mucus fluids to flow freely inside the plant. That's great for the plant. Read this one, right? Named for its similarity to earth pineapples, it's a large indigenous plant thrives in the Pandoran jungles and wetlands. Puffer. Oh boy, it's a big one. Obesus brevis. Root name means fat and short. Same genus as puffball tree and vein pod. Shrub related to the puffball tree. Clusters of pink leaves are a fungus growing on the puffer. Fungus resembles the natural sea sponge on Earth. Fungus on Puff Daddy absorbs nitrogen from atmosphere. Fungus converts it to nitrate, which is used by the plant. Navi collect the fungus for food. Puffer is a close relative of the puffball tree, although it is a large shrub. Under the fluffy pink covering are small globular balls that are quite sponge-like. Almost as soon as they are produced, they are covered by a pink-colored fungus, growing in a symbiotic relationship with the puffer. Fungus absorb atmospheric nitrogen and converts it to nitrate, which is then absorbed by the globular balls of the puffer. The plant obtains from the fungus the nitrogen in the form it needs for growth, while the fungus obtains carbohydrates from the plant for its growth. It is quite delicious and used by the Navi for food. They are careful not to harvest too much of one plant to avoid destroying the balance between plant and fungus required to maintain the health of both. And that one, beanstalk palm. Weeping Dancer. A forest tree with tall trunk and long strap-like leaves. Grow to exceptional heights due to the low gravity on Pandora. Same genus as razor palm. Reach over 150 meters, up to 15 meters spread. When trees are short, they provide abundant shade. Canopy of leaves used by many birds and animals for nesting. Fibrous leaves are used for making hammocks and baskets. Older trees are used as lookout posts. The beanstalk palm is named for its ability to grow to exceptional heights in the dense atmosphere and low gravity of Pandora. When young, a tree provides shade, and its leaves can be harvested for their fibrous tissue. Used to weave mats, baskets, banners, and bridles and saddles for dire horses. Unlike its relative, the razor palm, the beanstalk palm has rough but not sharp bark, and it's easy to climb. Birds and small climbing animals are often found nesting in it. As the tree matures, it continues to grow to heights not seen on Earth, which places the canopy above most other trees on Pandora. Those not afraid of heights can climb to the top, although on windy days the trunks flex and sway and climbing can be dangerous. These can be used to make a harness to hold the climber onto the tree during the ascent. Navi used taller trees as lookout posts and launching sites for Banshee. Ah, we have a machine gun. I can't swap out the pistols, I guess. I don't know which ones I prefer. Let's just go for volume. We'll swap out the long range guns. Go for short range guns. The grenade launcher. Not gonna use that. I like this gun. Think I like this gun? Yeah, I like this gun. It takes a long time to reload this one. We got a skill, right? What we got? Berserk. Significantly increases damage. That is very good. I do need to test if the stealth is basically damage immunity for a time. Let's try to remember that. Also, as you can see, the sun is coming up outside my house here. The environment is about to become uninhabitable for me. Yeah, nocturnal gamer. So, we'll probably end it soon for today. Where's the... This is the way.
Lifesaver.
Warning, code orange. Warning, code orange.
Why do I have the feeling that there's lore here? I feel like there's random places we can go and hit F and it'll just work. Oh yeah, we were supposed to be on the turret. Hey, look at this guy, he's like walking. We were supposed to go on the turret, right? This was actually supposed to be a turret section, but we tried to scan all the time. Yeah, I knew it. We got a lore on the turret lore. Are we gonna die? Ah, there is fall damage. Tell me about the turret. Ah, grenade launcher. Powerful handheld weapon lobs a high caliber explosive round to land at the feet of surprised enemies. Although slow to load, the 222 is an excellent choice against multiple infantry targets. Buildings and heavy armor. The new Crusher model provides the same firepower with stylistic modification. So they had like skins in this game, I guess. You needed to buy the season pass, I guess. If that existed back then. Grace lore. Grace Augustine came to Pandora only 3 decades ago to study the great diversity of life on Pandora. She was instrumental in the formation of the Avatar program and remains one of its most experienced xenoanthropologists. They're like a turret lore. No turret lore? Oh. Oh. Hey. Shoot. I see. Okay, so you're invisible until you shoot. The stealth could still be really useful because you can stealth and it's basically a full heal. Okay? If you can hide from combat and just sit there for 30 seconds, then that's basically a full heal. And I wonder if we can reload while in stealth. The triangles are just vehicles. Really cool that you're allowed to walk around before mission tells you. I'm getting an F button prompt. When I'm walking here, I'm getting this F button offer. Oh, never mind. Airlock. That's locked. I'm gonna try reloading now. I'm invisible. Let's reload. Yes, you can reload while stealth. Oh yeah. Assuming we're gonna fall into the water like in Dark Souls. No, we're not. Ah, you gotta scan it.
EMP protection protocols in effect.
Alright. Do we have what it takes? Are we a bad enough dude to read even more lore files right now? Buggy 4 is a fast, lightweight, and highly maneuverable single-occupant vehicle used primarily for forward ground reconnaissance. Unarmed and without any significant armor, the Buggy 4 relies on pure adrenaline junkie speed to stay out of trouble. Gator. The PBR Mark IV Patrol Boat River is a highly versatile boat, popularly called a Gator. It is a lightly armored hull and an above-water jet drive that enables it to operate in shallow, vegetation-choked rivers. There. Handbrake. No. Nothing there right now. GMI. A GMI allows you to teleport to other activated GMIs in the map. Once available, the Conquest option will allow you to gain XP and receive boosts to your damage and defense by conquering territories.
Kendra moved to the forward base. Grab one of the gators and head upriver to meet her.
Watch where you're going, Grunt.
I don't know if this game autosaves. I feel like it does. I feel like it's... Yeah, there's that icon over there. That icon there looks kind of like a storage medium. Probably a save icon. And it is in 2009, so the game probably does autosave. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I'm getting too tired to keep going and keep reading this stuff. Yeah, we'll obviously play through the whole game, so I'll play again whenever I have some peace and quiet. Game for a while. Stream it. Any data.